staff, but just run away from our key customers who are our students. Of course, the theme, I don't know whether the theme is displayed, but I can say the theme is promoting mental well-being in higher education, building resilient staff and supportive learning environments, promoting mental well-being in higher education, building resilient staff and supportive learning environment. We had our first presentation from one of our medics from the county government of Kisii, who is a trained nurse and a clinical psychologist, and of course she took us through that is Margaret Mogaka, and she introduced mental health in a broad perspective. And of course, what I picked out is that mental health is becoming a global concern. And as many governments and institutions want to embed mental health issues in their programs, we have definitions of what mental illness is and what mental health is. She took a bit of time to put mental health in perspective in our societies, and it is sad to learn that many of our communities consider mental health as witchcraft or a curse or pretense, which is very unfortunate, and that's why you get that many of the mental health issues go unattended because they take long to detect because of those kind of stereotyping that we have been accustomed as a people. What are some of the indications of mental health? They were expressed out: burnout, depression, and so on, exhaustion, social isolation, etc. She was able to illustrate what will mostly affect students, what will mostly affect staff, and of course we are to get a nexus. There are some of these issues that run for both. Like now for students, we have high levels of anxiety, depression, substance abuse, and so on. For staff, we have high stress levels, burnout, etc. But for both, stress is becoming a common denominator for both students and the staff. She basically took us shortly through some of the effects we have this was a different speaker. Then after that, we had there was a caution, especially to parents. You know, nowadays, like our parents who could just squeeze an eye like this and you know you have done a mistake. Present day parents are encouraged to be sensitive when their children indicate that they are unwell. And we were given parameters that will indicate that a child is not well. We had another presentation from Dynapath Laboratories, and Dynapath is one of the medical labs in Kisii town, and it was very clear that our mental health is highly influenced by our physical health. So let's take care of our physical health such that we maintain a healthy mind. We had a presentation from Dr. Tom Omondi Onyango, and he was talking about mental health in higher education context, overview of mental health, challenges among staff and students. We highlighted quite a number. What I have initially highlighted, it looks like they were very much in tandem with the medic we had from the county government of Kisii. He went further to highlight some of the effects of COVID-19 that have spilled over to date, and they are still affecting people. Then he looked at the impact of mental illness for the workplace. What are some of the impacts? Decreased performance, high turnover, absenteeism. If mental illness is affecting the workplace, what are some of the support and intervention strategies? They talked of institutional support, and fill gaps like having counseling centers, systemic support with the 4 M's: mapping, managing, monitoring, and motivating. And for Kisii University, this was considered as one of those steps in the right direction, creating awareness. If we are keen and active, proactive in identifying mental health issues, then they can be handled in good time, such that we don't have loss of lives. We had our union representatives being around. Of course, they appreciated management and the organizers of the workshop for what they have done, and they requested that we should have more of these kind of engagements. They talked of a few issues that are affecting staff, and they requested that anytime we realize or colleagues realize the staff as an issue, then the staff should be reached out to. One of the key presentations that came as a background of why this thing was done is that staff are encouraged to continuously seek help. And this workshop came as an alert from our medical services, where most of our staff who are going there were realized to be having anxiety disorders or high levels of stress. And Professor Nyamwenge and some team decided we can do something about this. So this is a wake-up call that these things are with us. Mental stability, we have to be very intentional on having our mental stability. That is what our DVC indicated, Professor Oyaro. And they say he was indicative that we should look out on the well-being of others if we also want to be well. The Registrar Administration indicated that for us to have a healthy workplace, people must normalize talking about issues that affect them. And she encouraged that people need to teach themselves on self-care and appreciate that the workplace is not just a place for earning. It is also a place that should be able to take care of our well-being by being intentional about feeling good and so forth. This workshop, as of yesterday morning, we learned that this workshop is an awareness campaign to show that our people have a myriad of problems that need to be addressed, and mental illness will be reduced if we become a brother's keeper. The university has a good vision of borderlessness and inclusivity, and let us embrace everybody in this journey. Let us meet our people at their different points of need, and together this journey shall be worthwhile. I want to stop at that, unless there is something that I'm forgotten and a member of the audience feels that the rest of us should be able to know. Thank you. I wasn't there in the afternoon.
Thank you, Lillian. Well done. I give it to Prof. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lillian, for that recap. I think, Lillian, you did a good job. You've captured almost everything that I had. It's unfortunate that people are still dropping in. I hope they'll be coming. So, as we wait, mental health management, one of the strategies is music, dancing, just to relieve ourselves and relieve the muscle tension. So, son, get us going some nice gospel music. As we wait for people to come after that, we'll have one of our facilitators from Aga Khan Hospital. I can see her. Yeah, thank you. So we rise. Let's rise on our feet as we wait for the young men to take care of our mental health. Thank you, DJ. Thank you. Let's settle for the next session, and I want to request Professor Nyamwange to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you so much. The dancing was good. We wished we were seeing what the dancers do, so that you could watch their dance steps and styles and copy. We are good in copying. Though I know music is therapeutic to the mind, and therefore it tells you how to move the rhythm in your own way, freestyle. I want to take this opportunity to welcome psychologists and our partners from Aga Khan Hospital, Kisii, to speak to us on mental health in the workplace. Mental health in the workplace. And Madam Asuma, you are welcome to take this stage and take us to the next level. Thank you. She is a psychologist at the hospital. And just to bring you to your awareness, these days, hospitals have psychologists. The reason for that is that most patients go to hospital not because they have physical ailments or pathogens in the bodies, but because they have emotional issues. And so when the psychologist deals with emotional issues, then the physician has nothing to do, just to release the patient and encourage the patient to drink water, encourage the patient to go and rest at home, and people recover. It has been proven that when psychologists are part of the hospital staff, the hospital gets to deal with issues in a much easier way. Thank you so much, and now it is your time.
Thank you so much. Just a minute. Yes, it is. No, it's okay. So, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I know we are few, but at least we are more than one. And where there is more than one, then there is power. Sindio? So these are it's more than one brain. So this number of brains that are here will be able to carry the message and carry the message out there. So from yesterday, I was here yesterday in the morning, and glad to say that we are just continuing the conversations that we started yesterday. There's nothing new that we are going to talk about, but it is more like putting more emphasis on what we need to do, what we need to look out for, and how we can be of help. I remember yesterday Professor Nathan, I think, was saying that mental health starts with you, that you are the one to take control of your own mental health. When you're able to take control of your own mental health, then you'll be aware of what needs to reach you and what does not need to reach you. So that is where we are going to start. And also Dr. Tom yesterday mentioned shortly on mental health in the workplace. So we will just start from there. As I said, we are just putting more emphasis on what we already know, Probably in the process, we will gain one or two things that we do not know. So it is more of a discussion. It is more of holding conversations. I was in a place last week, the other week on 19th in Nairobi, just for something like this. And we were being encouraged that people are tired of slides. People are tired of, so I'm going to do a presentation on this. And we are more like now holding conversations. Holding conversation is things that we keep talking about. People hold conversations on politics. People hold conversations on the economy. People hold conversations on how dry it is in Kisii, the weather, the foods, okay? So the same way we are holding conversations on these other things, we are also encouraged to hold conversations in matters mental health. So as Madam said, Professor Cullen, my name is Ruth Asuma. I'm a psychologist. I consult with Aga Khan. I hold clinics there in Aga Khan on few days of the week. So you can come there and we'll be able to assist whenever you feel like there is need. So I will just start from maybe a recap on what Margaret told us yesterday, that mental wellness is not merely the absence of a mental illness, but it is a positive state of mental health. It is being able to cope with the normal stresses of life, the normal things that you get to deal with on a daily, the challenges that you get to deal with on a daily. So when you're able to deal with that, okay, when you're able to handle it, when you're able to get good coping skills, then we can say in matters mental wellness, then you are good, okay? So it is just not illness. It will encompass your behavior, your emotions, how you speak and how you relate to people, how you think, even the capacity to make decisions can be affected by mental health. So mental health really is something that, it is something that encompasses everything, okay? It will affect your ability to cope with the normal stresses, your ability to do your daily activities. So as we talk about mental health in the workplace, all of us are people who are working somewhere. And as we said, mental health will affect how you speak to people. It will affect how you relate to people. It will affect how your behavior, okay? It will affect the basic things. It will affect even how you sleep, how you eat, will affect your hygiene. So that goes to tell you that mental health will affect everything. So we'll start from there. As I said, it's more of conversations. So when we say mental health in the workplace, we're just looking at the interaction of mental health and the workplace. Most of us spend a lot of time in the workplace. If you look at the time you spend at work and the time that you spend at home, you realize that most of the time you spend at work. Therefore, it is important that as you are at work, you are able to understand how to relate with the people that you're working with. So we'll just start from there. When we say mental health in the workplace, what is it that really comes to your mind? What is it that comes to your mind? Allow me to just ask us, okay? Ask us to changia in the conversation, right? So when you talk about mental health in the workplace, at least I know 4 people, so maybe I'll mention those 4 people. Dr. Bina, when we talk about mental health in the workplace, and we've said it is the interaction of mental health and the workplace, what is it that comes to your mind? What is it that you think about? Yes. So emotional state around where they work. Okay. Lillian, anything?
I feel motivated that my work is being appreciated. So I look forward to going to work. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you so
how
much.
would I feel like? Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so from those answers, Dr. Bina has mentioned emotional state when you're working. So that means, remember we've said that mental health will affect your emotions, okay? It will affect your behavior. It will affect how you interact with people. So basically that is it. It is how mental health intermarries with your work, how it affects your work, how it affects your productivity, how it affects your relationships. So how we respond then to these conditions, how we respond to anxiety, how we respond to stress, how we respond to yesterday we talked about this word burnout, how we respond to burnout, okay, in the workplace. It will tell us our mental state. It will tell us how good or how bad we are in regards to managing our mental health issues. So what are some of the risk factors? What are some of the things that we think can bring about mental health issues in the workplace? Mental health issues in the workplace. Dr. Rose. Yes, amount of work, okay? Sometimes it could be, you might feel that you are overworked. You might feel that the work on your desk, the assignments that you have could be too much for you, hence will affect your mental health status. Any other, Mr.? Okay, if you're working, probably there's some people who will tell you they're working in toxic work environments. So if that environment is not favoring you, it can also affect your mental status, okay? Madam at the corner.
Strict deadlines where you are given a lot of work and given a few hours to complete and submit.
Strict deadlines, yes, where you are given a lot of work. Behind you.
Some might be as a result of the stigma from maybe some of the staff, and also the burnout of the heavy work with the strict or timelines and deadlines.
Yes. Yes, thank you for passing the mic.
Poor communication.
Poor communication. Your friend amekata. Okay, so those are some of the risk factors. As I said earlier, it is just enhancing the conversation. These are things that we know. So you're talking about workplace conflicts. You're talking about meeting deadlines, targets that are becoming hard. You've tried January last year, you tried to meet the targets. The targets keep going higher and higher. So you're not able to meet these targets. There's also something very important, which is lack of control over your work. Most of us want to be in control of what we do. You went to school or you have expertise in that specific area. So you always want to be in control of your work. So when there is lack of control in your work, then that will definitely bring some elements of mental illness or mental instability. Then we talked about job satisfaction. When you don't get job satisfaction, you just work because you need the money, or you work because you don't have any other options. So you are not satisfied. You just do it for the purposes of doing it. So lack of job satisfaction can also be a risk factor for mental health issues. Then lack of necessary support. We mentioned this yesterday. I remember I don't know, it's the Secretary General or somebody talked about support. When you get support in your work, support from your supervisor, support from the people that you're working with, makes work easier. So when there's lack of it, then therefore it can be a risk factor for mental health in the workplace. Long working hours, toxic environment for some people. They might say boss wake akum toxic, colleague wake akum toxic, and sometimes I feel like the word toxic can mean different things for different people. Don't you think so, Dr. Ross? It's true. So how you perceive your environment, then can be an indicator if it is a good environment, if it will support your mental health or if it will not support your mental health. So some of the things that we will look out for, some of the signs, because there's no point of talking about mental health in the workplace, talking about anxiety, talking about depression, and you are not able to identify some of the things that you don't even need to go to a doctor, you don't need to see a psychologist. Some of the things that you can see in your friends, in your colleagues, that will tell you, I think somebody is not okay. One of the common ones is when you're having changes in your sleep patterns, changes in your mood, common things, changes in your mood. You are all of a sudden very irritable, you are kasirika too, you are not the happy person that you used to be, then that could be an indication of mental health challenges. Maybe we can say more from what we've been discussing from yesterday, sorry. Any other? Dr. Rose? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. And then in regards to also withdrawal and isolation, this person can still come to work, but not interested in activities that are involving other staff members. If you're going for lunch, you're used to going to lunch together, then he will not go for lunch. If you're seated in such a hall, this person will prefer sitting kwa corner. They'll find a way of just isolating or just being on their own. As long as they are on their own, in their own world, they are on their own, then that can be a sign of somebody who's dealing with mental health challenges. I've talked about irritability. You're just kasirika too, even on small things. And remember, we are talking about changes in these things. You never used to be like this. 3 months ago, 4 months ago, you are okay? In our understanding, you are okay. And then now in the next, past 3 months, past 2 months, we have noticed these changes, okay? Like Dr. Rosa said, you just don't feel like coming to work. When you come to work, you don't feel like working. This is somebody who mentioned yesterday, you're present, but you're not present. Uko lakini hauko, okay? Then there's also absenteeism. You just find reasons for not coming to work. That can also be a serious indicator of mental health conditions. Increased use of substances and alcohol. I know most people use these substances, but now when it reaches to a point that there's no control, you come to work, you're smelling alcohol, you're smelling cigarettes, you are unkempt, you are untidy, that can be a serious sign of somebody who's dealing with mental health issues. Yeah, we are also talking about now things that we can relate with, a drop in performance that cannot be explained. You've not been sick, you've not missed classes, but there's just drop in performance. Excessive missed days at work, which is absenteeism, we've mentioned that. We've talked about avoiding people, avoiding colleagues. And then now there's this one that Professor mentioned yesterday, that the medical people told her that watu wanakuja hapa sana, wanaumwa na kichwa. Okay, when you're just having physical symptoms, physical complaints, unaumwa kichwa, unaumwa mgongo, something is just happening with you. Some people will call them sijui hapakule diseases. Unaumwa leo, unaumwa kichwa, upewe dawa ya kichwa. Tomorrow you come, you're having back pains, okay? Now these are most clients that I get to see. They go to a physician, wanaumwa, they do all the tests, and then finally the tests come out negative or normal. And this person is still complaining. So sometimes mental health conditions, they will manifest in physical symptoms. So it is also important for you to be sensitive. When you realize you're having physical symptoms, unexplained physical symptoms, haujafanya kazi ambayo inakuumiza mgongo, you are not dehydrated probably, so you can't explain the headaches. Okay, we've done tests, there's nothing showing that you are sick, so that can be a sign of mental health conditions. Good. Other indicators can be fatigue, just general fatigue or lethargy. You're just tired. You've not worked, you've just woken up, umefika tu kazi and you're just tired. Could also be a serious sign of mental health conditions. Absent-mindedness. You're together with your colleagues, or you've gone to class, assuming most of us are lecturers, you've gone to class, or in your area of expertise, whatever you're doing, na unashinda umezubaa, you're just absent-minded for long periods, then that can also be an indicator of somebody who's dealing with a mental health issue. Could be stress, could be anxiety, could be somebody's dealing with suicidal ideations. Things are happening, so that could be a sign of mental health issues. Self-neglect also goes hand in hand with changes in hygiene. You are suddenly not taking care of yourself. You're suddenly not bothered by how you look. You're not bothered by simple things like waking up and brushing your teeth. Simple things like waking up and dressing well. You're not bothered by such. So that can be also an indicator of somebody who's dealing with mental health conditions. So how do we deal with these conditions at the workplace? Or how have we been dealing with mental health in the workplace? I'll start with Lillian. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Manic.
Yes.
When they're at the level of manic depression.
Yes.
So it's not always like down, and that's something as colleagues we need to watch out. That this Rose used to be just, moderate, quiet, but suddenly she's become so hyperactive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could just be an indication of
yes,
mental
exactly.
health.
It could be remember we've said changes. So when you notice there are changes, like Daktari has said, changes in even, they used to be quiet people, all of a sudden they are very talkative. They interact with people so much, could be an indicator of mental illness. Yesterday, Dr. Tom mentioned something that when somebody has made peace with what they want to do, for example, if somebody has been dealing with suicidal ideation, and they have already made plans, and wamejua, next week or next month, this is what I'll do. So they might have a period where they seem to be okay, they seem things are working, they are very happy, they are very jovial, kumbe they are dealing with mental health issues. So thank you so much, Daktari, for that. So,
use this for the sake of those who are online.
okay.
So the question is, or how do we deal? Did I get it right?
Yes.
I feel that the first step is self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
If, for example, I feel I am extremely tired, or I don't feel like going to work, I'll try to think, am I too tired? Am I too exhausted? So if I'm self-aware that it's not my normal behavior, then I can even ask for leave just to take a break and to feel rejuvenated.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, if something is a stressor, it may not be the best, but at times it helps. You just avoid it. If somebody keeps stepping on your toes, just try to do things that will keep you away from that individual. Because at times we cannot help having these people in the spaces that we occupy.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So the first point you said is being aware, okay? And at some point, such conversations, such setups will make you know. No, you keep hearing things, you keep hearing, oh, changes in this, changes in this, changes in this. So the moment you are aware, unajisikiza, okay, you are sensitive, you are able to know, I've been having these headaches for the past 2 weeks. Nimeenda hospitali, they keep telling me, there's nothing wrong with me. So could there be a stressor? Could there be something that is bothering me? So you sit down with that thought, you sit down with yourself and be able to identify, if you can. You'll be very smart if you can be able to identify whatever is happening around you. So yes, learning these signs and being aware, being able to recognize these signs is very important. And also to your colleague, okay? Unaweza jua, siku hizi Lydia ako hivi na hivi, she never used to be like this. So sometimes, I know sometimes it is hard to bring it up, but also having this information helps you even to be your brother's keeper. And then number 2, she has said, sometimes avoiding the stressors, okay? Yesterday, Professor Nathan said that he uninstalled WhatsApp from his phone because he realized WhatsApp was more of a stressor than a blessing to him. He would look at the messages na zinamkasirisha. So akaprefer kufanya nini? Kutoa WhatsApp, okay? Now that is just an example of you, how you can deal with that stressor. I remember he also mentioned that when you want to talk about him, talk bad about him, you go and talk, but don't bring it to him. So that takes us to that point of self-awareness, okay? Knowing very well that this is a stressor, and if I don't have a coping way, or if I don't have ways of dealing with this, then at some point avoiding it can also be a very good way of dealing with it. Another one? Yes.
Another way of managing a mental health at workplace, it could be breaking the silence.
Mm-hmm.
Most of staff or students, they don't break the silence. They keep whatever is stressing them onto themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when we encourage open communication at workplace, the supervisors, if somebody has requested for an off, allow them that time off, because they'll want to go and rejuvenate at home.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of them coming to work and not working, presentism. I don't know how they called it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You come to work, you are not working. Ask someone, what have you done today? Nothing, but they were present at work.
Mm-hmm.
Allow them time off so that they go and they reflect on whatever is disturbing them.
Mm-hmm.
And encourage people to go to seek counseling services. In most times, we sit in our offices the whole day without people coming to seek services. People should be encouraged to come, not to wait until it is too late. When it has escalated to something, is now when they are where they are coming for sessions. And also, I wanted to say, when they open communication, when somebody has spoken again, let us not breach confidentiality, because if somebody has disclosed maybe someone undergoing difficult marital challenges, then I share with the Dr. Rose, and then I hear it being discussed somewhere, I won't talk again. So let us also be open, encourage someone to come, and I don't know whether this university has what we call EAPs, Employee Assisted Program, where somebody can come and express themselves, and then they get linkage to psychologists now who are here. I don't know whether we have that. If not, then we need to have one where somebody can come and talk about it, where someone can come open and express him or herself without our issues being discussed anywhere. And then we avoid stigma. If I have come and disclosed to you I have been diagnosed with depression and I'm on treatment, don't stigmatize me by saying, ilo ugonjwa yake imerudi, vile na behave leo. Let us avoid stigma, accommodate each one of us, even people with bipolar. Hawkers will be coming to the office to sell things, and then they are taking on credit. Again, that will again impact on their mental health, the issues with finances. So I think I'll allow to speak.
Thank you for that. What I've picked is open communication, being able to talk about these issues, being able to approach somebody to ask for help. Asking for help is also one of them. All right. Then we can also talk about planning and preparing, or rather time management. Okay, time management can help sana when you're dealing with anxiety in the workplace. Okay, being able to set for yourself mini deadlines. If we are talking about kazi nyingi, workload, being able to set for yourself mini deadlines can really help when dealing with anxiety in the workplace. We can also talk about work-life balance. Work-life balance. Dr. Bina, work-life balance. What is work-life balance? Pardon? Mike.
This is work-life balance is when you can be able to strike a reasonable balance between your personal life and your work life, and be able to actively, in a sane manner, hold both of them without having one succumb to pressures of the other.
Thank you. So give us one way of work-life boundaries. Okay, boundaries, I've even mentioned it. Boundaries, right? Boundaries. Dr. Rose, unaweza tuambia nini kuhusu boundaries, setting boundaries as a form of work-life balance?
Setting boundaries, very, very important, because at workplace, there can be so many requests for you. You know, almost everybody is requesting you to do something. So then you can reach a point where you can say, I appreciate, thank you, but I am not able to take this up. So there are times we must just know our limit and know what we can take and what we cannot take. And we can say no politely without being offensive.
Thank you.
That is one way. There are other ways of setting boundaries, like knowing who I am, and apart from saying no, then I could also consider, at workplace we work as professionals, and then there are other issues that may come up that are personal. So then you need to create professional and personal boundaries. Otherwise, when we start mixing them up is when we get overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Thank you so much for elaborating that. So work-life balance, one of them is setting boundaries, saying no, okay? Saying no does not make you a bad person, does not make you a mean person. That means you are more aware of yourself. You know what you can hold, you know what you can do, and you know that which you cannot do. So saying no is really a way of taking care of your mental health. Another one is self-care. I know somebody will talk about self-care today. So how does self-care help in work-life balance?
Can I add something on experience with boundaries that is really a challenge at workplace? And it's really stressing people that sometimes the issue of competence, being competent in a particular area. So we have people at workplace who can do almost everything. And so they can be psychologists, they can be pastors, they can be administrators, they can be human resource. So when the moment we are not able to set boundaries on our areas of expertise, and then in the process you get overwhelmed because you end up doing things that you are not even trained to do, you are not supposed to do. Yes. You cross other people's you cross boundaries, unakosana na watu, so there's so much about boundaries. So let us, unless, I don't know, and this is also stressing people. I hope HR is online. But then there are times people feel that they are placed in areas that are not their areas of expertise. Yeah. So, and when the doctor talks about the EAP, that is Employee Assistance Program, it's about wellness. And when people feel misplaced, that is how people get burnout. So I enjoy what I do most when I'm I'm confined to my area of expertise, but I know there is any other additional duty that I can do. But when I feel that I have the competence to do this, I become a more productive employee than when I'm being, placed to do what I feel I'm not able to do. And yet, any other duty is a rider to our employment program. Yeah.
Hence helping in mental health. Sindio? Remember, we are marrying everything that is everything that is happening in the workplace with mental health, okay? Another one is focusing on things that we can control. I think it still goes hand in hand with saying no, goes hand in hand with setting boundaries. Focusing on things that are in your control, things that you can do, things that you know you can manage, right? Another one is crowning yourself in the present moment. Crowning yourself where you are, crowning yourself with the assignment that you're doing. It's more of, we call it mindfulness, being present, being able to, like right now, we are in this hall, so allowing ourselves to be here, allowing ourselves to focus, allowing ourselves to enjoy the moment that we are here. That is also a very big thing that you can do, and it can really help with mental health. Any other before nifunge hiyo chapter huko nyuma? Any other thing that we think we can do that can help us with mental health in the workplace?
As you wait, I wanted to add something on work-life balance. I prefer it being work-life integration. If you look at the weighing scale, if you say you are balancing, it means you are standing in the middle. There is work the other side, and there is your life the other side. When you look at the weighing scale, let's use an example. When you're going to the butchery to buy some meat, it takes a lot of time to balance. You add, it's too heavy. You reduce, it again becomes little. So we need to integrate. When you integrate now, you will be able to see a boundary. There is work here, there is life here. It is easier as opposed to balancing. When you balance, sometimes either your life or work will fall. But when you integrate, you know there's a boundary here. I have a picture, if the technicians will allow later, to demonstrate how integration comes in. Those who have beds or tables at home, you see how those woods are integrated to make that table stable. So we need to integrate. You know, your life is from 8 to 5, either you are at work, from either 5 or 6 to some around 10. That is now your life until morning you come back to work. So when you say you are integrating, you are not carrying work to your bedroom. Your life will suffer. Your family, your children will suffer. You will be telling people, I'm in a Zoom meeting. The time that you should be having your life, weekends, at night, you are at home as a mother or as a father, but at the same time you are doing office work at home. So you see your life has been outweighed by the work. When you look at the balance, the weighing scale, I have that picture, I will show it off later on. So let us learn to integrate our work and our life. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that school of thought. Any other before we wind up? I'm actually winding up.
Just before we wind up, we need to have a candid conversation, which we have started.
Yes.
And the reason why we are having this workshop, for the sake of my colleagues, is that mental health challenges are real. We always don't get the help that we need. So we need to, then the question is, how do we manage? And you have given us very good points and quite practical. But we have a challenge. Different organizations have different challenges. And one of the strategies that has been pointed out clearly is seeking help. That when I'm not able to, even when I engage in self-care, sometimes I realize that I'm overwhelmed and I need help. Professional counseling services are not always available, even in the university. Of course, I know there are organizations that have very good services. Like, today I woke up, I'm not doing quite well. I have been doing my journaling for a whole week, and I'm not seeing any improvement. My situation is going down. So today I need to see a professional counselor. That may not be as much available as it should be. So then the question comes, what is the university doing about this? And this is the conversation that we are moving forward to. And we are saying that even as staff, we need professional counseling services. So that would actually be one of my strong recommendations from this workshop, that we have no choice, but it would be a good idea to set up professional counseling services. Apart from that, the WHO has many models of, many models recommended, that where there are no professional counseling services, we can actually use models that are not necessarily specialized. For example, models that can be carried out by people who are not specialists, so long as they can be trained. So that, because the psychiatrists, the psychologists, the doctors in medical settings may not always be available in the community. And I want to look at this Kisii University as a community. We may not have psychiatric services. We may not have the psychologists available all the time. So then, can we as colleagues think of models that can be used by non-specialists, so that if we get such trainings, like I know people from the medical setup, you have the mental health gap, for those who have been trained in mental health gap, supposed to assist the community. So therefore, colleagues, I'm thinking that even having peer counselors, not good enough, but a positive step. Yes. So if we can, as we continue with the conversation, let us make some recommendations that we can actually forward to HR, so that our mental health management is better than what it has been.
Thank you so much. So I said I was winding up. One of the strongest points that I love, apart from focusing on things that you can control, is also accepting uncertainty. Creating peace with what can possibly happen goes hand in hand with what is in control. Creating peace that kuna vitu zenye huwezi fanya. Creating peace that kuna vitu zenye ziko beyond you. That is a very important way of dealing with these issues, okay? Some people will tell you pray. Some people will tell you a good diet. Of course, very strong points. People will tell you to get a good sleep. Very strong point. The most important thing is that you get a coping skill that works for you, okay? If you think going for swimming every evening or going for swimming every weekend will help you to release what has been happening, then do it. If you think going to the gym will help you, then do it. Okay, so get a good coping skill that works for you. And as Dr. Ross has mentioned, at what point do you get to seek help? At what point do you feel like hii yangu imekata, journaling imekata, tizi imekata, swimming imekata? At what point now do you get to see a professional? Okay, when you've tried your coping mechanism na imekata, when you've tried prayer, you've tried taking a lot of water, you've tried deep breathing, na imekata, then at that point, now you get to seek help. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I believe that we will continue with this conversation. We keep talking about it until we are able to understand. The way people are talking about hypertension and ulcers huku nje, let us also be able to keep the conversations alive. So thank you so much, unless there is any addition or reaction to this. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Bina.
I want to echo what Daktari has said. You cannot always have enough people to assist, but you can work with those you have to get to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to task shift. But it's very easy to have a small session where you teach people the basics of counseling. You can start by maybe heads of department and HR, if people are open to them. But you know, it has to bring about a change in mindset to those people who are going to be handling someone coming to you with a problem. You're going to have to know when to follow protocol and when to be human. It's a delicate balance. Not everybody can be a counselor, and not everybody is tailored to listen and offer solutions. But there are few that you can see that can be used as supporters. Peer counselors do very well, but you can only be a peer counselor if you've walked in that shoe. That's why they're called peers. You are of the same, so you can be able to resonate to it. It's something that the university needs to really critically think about, because you have two special categories of people here. Actually, three. The student, the employee, let's say the staff that has been officially employed, and then you have the casuals that people always forget. And everyone has unique needs. Everyone has unique problems, in as much as they might seem the same, but they present uniquely to each and every one of them. So those people that the institution is going to be thinking of using as a support system in counseling have to be also very unique in those specific areas. It's workable, it's doable, even without much financial implication, by the way. Bora tu mtu ajitole, akue willing to stand up and be a brother, to learn to listen, learn to be human, and give workable solutions. Sometimes you don't even need to give solutions, you just listen. And the person that is actually telling you the problems comes up with their own solutions because they've articulated their problem. Just saying, ukiongea shida zako out loud, you realize where you are not thinking initially before when it is internalized. So it's something that should be inclusive. That inclusivity and borderlessness falls swiftly under there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Dr.
Today I have to learn to, I've seen our clapiologist has just arrived, lakini hajafika huko. So I want to try and fit in her shoes, they are big. I will not make it, but I want us to appreciate our speaker. I think it's been wonderful. Yeah, the points were very candid and clear and practical. And because of her practicality, we want to appreciate you, Madam Asuma, for the insightful knowledge that you've given us on mental health. And some of the things she has mentioned, I want to believe we are going to try on our own, or we are surrounded by people who may need psychological support so we can advise. So we want to give her 3 good, that was a very soft presentation. So we want to give her 3 good soft copy claps. You know how soft copy claps go? Yeah. So soft copy claps, we do it softly, so that we appreciate our presentation that was quite soft. So this is what we are going to do. Moja, mbili, tatu. So soft copy claps don't make any noise. So soft copy claps begin. 1. Mkiharibu tunarudia. Even if you are going to do that the whole day. So make sure, watch your neighbor. If you are the one spoiling for us the program, then you will do it alone. So let's start. Moja, mbili, tatu. Thank you, madam, for that presentation. We want to move to the next item, and I think the next item should be our break. What's the time? It should be. Yeah, let's have our tea break, health break. Before we go out, DJ, give us something. DJ, let's all rise for some exercise. Music. So then after that, I'll pray for tea, then we take tea, and we'll be back. We'll take about 15 minutes so that we come back by 11. Yeah. DJ.
Push pineapple, shake the tree. I got do. Push pineapple, grind coffee. To the left, to the right. Jump up and down and to the knees. Come and dance every night. Sing with a hula melody. I met a hula mistress somewhere in Waikiki. Well, she was selling pineapple, playing ukulele. And when I went to the girl, come on and teach me to sway. She laughed and whispered to me, yes, come tonight to the bay. The lovely beach and the sky, the moon of Kauai, around Calypso surround. We'll all be singing this song. I got do. Push pineapple, shake the tree. I got do. Push pineapple, grind coffee. To the left, to the right. Jump up and down and to the knees. Come and dance every night. Sing with a hula melody. I got do. Push pineapple, shake the tree. I got do. Push pineapple, grind coffee. To the left, to the right. Jump up and down and to the knees. Come and dance every night. Sing with a hula melody. And down on the shore, they gather romance. She showed me much more, not only to dance. I got do. Push pineapple, shake the tree. I got do. Push pineapple, grind coffee. To the left, to the right. Jump up and down and to the knees. Come and dance every night. Sing with a hula melody. I got do. Push pineapple, shake the tree. I got do. Push pineapple, grind coffee. To the left, to the right. Jump up and down and to the knees. Come and dance every night. Sing with a hula melody. The lovely beach and the sky, the moon of Kauai, around Calypso surround. We'll all be singing this song. I got do. Push pineapple, shake the tree. I got do. Push pineapple, grind coffee. To the left, to the right. Jump up and down and to the knees. Come and dance every night. Sing with a hula melody. I got do. Push pineapple, shake the tree. I got do. Push pineapple, grind coffee. To the left, to the right. Jump up and down and to the knees. Come and dance every night. Sing with a hula melody.
DJ, one more time. One more time.
I got do. Push pineapple, shake the tree. I got do. Push pineapple, grind coffee. To the left, to the right. Jump up and down and to the knees. Come and dance every night. Sing with a hula melody. I met a hula mistress somewhere in Waikiki. Well, she was selling pineapple, playing ukulele. And when I went to the girl, come on and teach me to sway. She laughed and whispered to me, yes, come tonight to the bay. The lovely beach and the sky, the moon of Kauai, around Calypso surround. We'll all be singing this song.
I want to pray for tea. I want to bless the tea. We take tea. Let's make it like 10 minutes. Then we come back. We have our university students choir to entertain us. So we have lots and lots of things to cover. So let us pray. Father God, we want to bless your name for this morning. Thank you for giving us this bright morning. We are on the second day of our workshop. And Lord, we want to thank you for the knowledge that we've received so far from our knowledgeable facilitators. I want to bless your name for everyone who is here. As we step out to have tea, Lord, we pray that you bless it, and we may take it with thanksgiving, for we are prayed in Jesus' name. Amen.